Today is the 4th of July here in the good old US of A, and what better way to celebrate than by playing the newest video game from China's biggest developer, Zenless Zone Zero. I have been playing this game almost non-stop since it released last night. I've been having a blast with it, but I just wanted to take a pause from my gameplay really quick so I could share with you guys some tips that I picked up while I was leveling my intronaut level, which is the account level in this game, from 1 through 20. In the future, I do plan on expanding this progression guide to the later levels, but I thought it was important to get this early one out to ensure that 1, new players don't make mistakes that can stunt their growth early on, and 2, to ensure that you can do it as fast and as efficient as possible if that's what you're looking to do. There's also a tip I have in here to ensure you get some extra pulls early on, so stay tuned, and I hope that this video is helpful to you. So I'm here on my character screen because before I talk about anything else, I want to talk about rerolling and whether you should do it or not. In my humble opinion, you should definitely consider rerolling, especially if you want any particular characters. I think in general, most people would benefit from having Lycan or Rena down here, who I do not have. These are kind of two universal characters that are really going to help your account, even going into the future. So if you're free to play or low spender, I would definitely reroll to try to get one of those two. Or if you're just really in love with like Nekomata and you really need her, just reroll. It might be a pain in the butt at first, but it's really going to affect how you play the game for the foreseeable future, right? And if you don't have a character that you really want, when you could have rerolled for it, you're just going to keep pulling from that standard banner and be tempted to spend, and it's not going to be a good time. So my advice to you would be pick a character you want and reroll for it. So you just installed the game and you boot it up and you're wondering, well, what do I do next? Well, really the only thing you can do for your first few hours is just grind that story out. The story is going to kind of guide you through the first part of the game, and you won't really need my help there. If you are reading all of the text and really watching all the cutscenes, expect to take like 4 to 5 hours before you reach this place right here on screen. And if you're skipping the story, it'll maybe take you like 1.5 to 2.5 hours to get to this spot. But I would recommend that you kind of soak it in and kind of get yourself acclimated with everything until you get to this spot. And I will say, if you only have like an allocated amount of time to play that first day, I would at least get to this spot right here before you log out for the day, because this is where you can first start spending your resin, or as we call it in this game, the battery power, which is the energy that, you know, you find it in all of these gacha games. You have 240 of it that you can carry, and it's going to slowly regenerate over time. It'll take about 24 hours to fully regenerate. It's that type of thing. This is where you can first start spending it. It's going to ask you to first spend it on the agent promotion here, which is actually what I would recommend you first spend your stamina on. At this point in the game, you will have a coffee buff on that will increase the amount of stun seals that you get. So I would just do that one straight away. But here's the deal, is that when you click on these, you can actually choose how many enemies you'll get, and depending on how many enemies you choose, it'll spend more or less stamina. So as you can see, if I only pick one, you're only going to spend about 20 stamina, which is what I would recommend you do at first. After you do that first stun drill for the main quest that you need to do, and you use your coffee buff, I would ask yourself this: am I going to be playing for the next few hours, or am I about to log off in the near future? If you are going to log off for the near future, I would recommend you kind of just blow all of your battery costs right now. Maybe do like one of each of these, or go into your characters and see like what 3 characters you want to level up. Say if I was going to do like Ellen, Lycan, and Sokaku, I would do 1 attack, 1 stun, 1 support, just so I can get their materials, and then maybe consider doing a W engine one, or even basic materials, probably W engine. But if you are going to keep playing for the next couple of hours, I would just leave right there. I would spend 20, maybe 40 of your resin, of your stamina, and then just stop there. When you first get here, you might be thinking, oh, I should just blow all my resin right away because it's going to help you level up faster and you're going to get more materials. But you really should just wait, because I'm telling you, if you're just going to play for a couple hours right after this, you can easily get to level 20 in a reasonable amount of time. And once you do get to level 20, let me show you. When you're at level 10, you barely get any materials for this stuff, and you're going to be below level 20 when you get to this point. You don't get a whole lot, whereas I'll show you what you get at level 20. It drastically increases, right? You're going to be getting the blues and a lot more of the greens. So I would just be patient. It's really not going to make that big of a difference in your level up. the game is going to give you more than enough opportunities to get to level 20 without spending your resin. So just hold on to it. Don't fall for the bait. Just leave if you are going to keep playing for the next few hours. Before we move on, I have one little cheeky tip for you guys, and it's really just a recommendation. You can spend your battery power however you want, but if you do want to do this, if you look over here to promote, your first promotion on each character only takes about 4 of these seals, which is about 20 battery power. So I would just try to promote every character that you have to that 10 out of 20. You don't have to level them up all the way, but just do that first promotion. And the reason I say that is that, let me show you, if I promote Ambi here, just promoter, I had a ton of those anyways, what you get is a free pull for the standard banner. So if you've been doing a lot of pulls already and you have a good amount of characters, this could potentially be, I mean, like upwards of 10 free pulls. So just sink your first little bit of battery power into promoting all these guys, and you'll get some of those sweet juicy pulls. At this point in the game, you should also unlock your errands, which honestly, this is all stuff that the main story is going to have you do on day 1, so it should be done right when you unlock it. But if it's not, just go back and make sure that you did all this stuff, because this is a pretty good source of your XP as well. After that, you're going to be forced to just keep grinding that story. It's all you can do at this point. You're going to go through basically the end of the first story arc, not necessarily the end of chapter 1, but the end of the first story arc. You'll know what I'm talking about when you get there. It's pretty epic in my opinion. But then you're going to reach your first gate, and the game's going to tell you, go reach Intronaut level 20 and collect 40 observation data. And the observation data can be collected through either doing combat missions, through doing the exploration missions, or doing these Mew Mew tasks. And I'll tell you right now, this is what I thought I would do at first, because it told me I had to do 24 of these observation datas. So I'm like, oh, I'll start doing all this. I'll go collect chests and do side quests. But I'm here to tell you just another quick little tip is that if you just do all the combat missions that you're going to have to do anyways, it's easily going to get you to level 20 and will get you a whole bunch of that observation data. And you don't even need to start touching those Mew Mew's tasks. I'll say that if you just want to do all of this as quickly as possible, just skip all the Mew Mew stuff. You don't have to go explore this overworld. Just go do your missions, and that should take you there pretty dang easily. Something else that you'll unlock on your way to level 20 that's going to help you get to level 20 is this Hollow Zero mode, which is eventually going to become an endgame mode for you. Think like simulated universe if you've ever played Honkai Star Rail, sort of like a roguelike mode. But when you unlock it, it's going to have you run through this first mission here, and then after that you'll get a commission where you meet a lady in your video shop to come back here. And as you can see, I haven't done that yet, but I'm including that in this video to say, if you're starting this game week 1 or even whatever week you're starting, this does kind of have a weekly cap that you want to reach. So you don't necessarily have to do this stuff first day, but I would just clear as much as you can within the first couple of days at least, so you can get the limited time rewards. As you can see, where they at, they have these bounty commissions that you'll have to do. So it's like kill this many enemies and then kill this many enemies and complete an operation on this difficulty. Again, this isn't something that you necessarily need to do within the first day, but definitely within those first couple of days you should have this on your radar and be planning for this to not miss out on those limited time rewards. So levels 1 through 20, day 1, it's going to be pretty simple, but I really wanted to make this video to kind of compile some of those quick little tips, particularly the ones about like the free pulls and just kind of expediting your journey even if you are reading all of the story. Yeah, just wanted to put them all together in this video, and hopefully it helped you a little bit. As I and everyone else keep progressing through the game, I will be coming out with more videos with more in-depth advice on the other level ranges, so please stay tuned for those. But until then, have a blast with Zenless Zone Zero, guys. You only get to play a game for the first time once, so I really hope that you're enjoying your time. If you yourself have some tips for these new players that I might have missed, please let us know down in the comments. Spread the knowledge for everyone. But if you don't, thank you so much for watching. As I said, I'll have more videos on ZZZ coming soon, so please subscribe and like the video if you enjoyed. But once again, I appreciate you guys, love ya, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.